Giselle, you need to read this. Seriously. Hi wonderful people, and welcome back to my channel, Bookkraves with Giselle. What's up, what's the scene? How are you going? We are in a new month, and in a new month, you know what we always do. We try to read new books, or we add on books to our TBR list, or we make new goals, or we set goals for ourselves in the beginning of a month. So this month, I am doing things a bit differently in that my focus for this month is reading interracial, intercultural, multicultural romance books. Yes, I said it. All the books that I want to read this month are BWWM or AMBW. But yes, that is what my goals are for this month. You want to know why? Because there are some exciting books coming out this month. Like, ooh, I enjoy a good interracial romance. Like, hands down, I love reading those types of books. And this month, or in the month of October, there are several highly anticipated books being released. Yes, some highly anticipated interracial, intercultural books being released. So that is what this video is about. I am going to share with you some highly anticipated BWWM or AMBW books that I want to read. I am sure there are other books that are going to be released. Like, I have been searching for these books. I went on various websites, and I even went into chat groups just to find out what books are going to be released so that I could put together a list and share it with you. I know you all like to read interracial romance like me, so I am here to give you some books that are going to be released. If I did not mention a particular book that you know that is going to be released this month, make sure and mention it in the comment down below. I will add it to my TBR. If you want to know what are some highly anticipated release, some highly anticipated BWWM, intercultural, interracial, multicultural romances that are going to be released this month, just make sure and keep watching this video, and make sure and like it too. Just like it, right? Like it. So first up, we have 3 books that are going to be released this month from the Lunchtime Chronicles. Yes, I read the ones that were released in September, Fire Roasted and Deep Dish, and I really enjoyed those, so I'm going to continue reading the books from the 4th season in Lunchtime Chronicles. So we have Sword Shaker by S. London, and that is going to be released on October 6th. We have Red Moscato by Posey Parks, and that is going to be released on October 13th. And we have Naked Sushi by Kenya Wright, and that is releasing on October 20th. So yeah, so these are a mix of different stories. In Sword Shaker, we meet Nisa and Roman, and Roman, he's all about, you know, he likes his woman seasoned, and he's like, hey, Nisa doesn't know what she's getting into. And Nisa, she's like, you know what, it's my birthday, and the person that I was supposed to hook up with, you know, is a no-show. She meets Roman, and she's about to have the time of her life. However, she bites off more than she can chew, because now she might be prey for the manifesto. So I'm thinking this is some type of a mafia romance. We will see when it is released on Wednesday. And know that here I'm going to be reading it on the day that it is released. Just saying. These books are really fast-paced and short reads. They're basically an average of maybe 60-something to 80-something pages. And then we have like Red Moscato, and Red Moscato, I'm getting some type of a grumpy boss office romance vibes from the blurb. And from what I also gathered is that the heroine, she wants a second chance with her boss, and she feels responsible for her boss grumpiness. So I'm like, yeah, I want to read that. And then with Naked Sushi, we have Rio and Layla, and Rio is a member of a Japanese gang. He is known as the Executioner, as well as the Dragon's Roar. So I'm like, bad boy vibe. And you know that I'm all about that life. And then we have Layla. So apparently she is working to try to save some money to save her sister, and they meet. So you have this Japanese guy, this African American girl, and you know things are definitely going to get spicy. So naked sushi, I'm all about that, and I want to read that story. Can't wait for it to be released on October 20th. Yes. So I really want to read those books from Lunchtime Chronicles. We also have some more being released in November, but you know that is for another video. Let's move on to some other books that are releasing this month. So we have a book written by Sage Young. Now, because I'm in some groups, remember I told you I went looking for these books, right? So I saw that she mentioned she has Constantines Redemption being released this month. I don't know what date it is going to be released. Hey, I can't even find it on Goodreads. She mentioned this in a group. So I am just giving you the S to look out for that book. I know some of you all read Constantine's Revenge, as well as the prequel to that story, The Origin. And this is from the I Carcass Brothers series. So yes, I really want to read this book. I think things are going to get really heated in this book. I did not read, I'm going to admit, I did not read the other books, but I'm going to read it because I think I have some time, because this book is probably going to be released later down in this month. So I have some time to catch up on this series. And you know I'm all about a good mafia romance, right? An interracial mafia romance. Hello! You know I have to read that. Make sure and remember to add this book to your TBR and look out for it on Goodreads. I really want to read it. It's an interracial mafia. I don't get those often, so when I see one, I'm like, I have to read it. Another highly anticipated book in October is written by Evelyn Sola, and it is Take Down. So this is Adam and Millie's story, and it is going to be released on October 29th, and it is a accidental marriage romance. The blurb is not even posted at this point, but I have read books from Evelyn Sola, and they were so good. Like I spoke about Broken in, I think it was February on my channel. Definitely check out that video. I will post it in the card. I love that book. That book was like drama from beginning to end. Loved Broken. It really did break my heart. It was a really emotional story. So yes, I really want to read Take Down from Evelyn Sola. Make sure and add this to your TBR, because I have already done so, and I'm waiting for this book to come out. So I have something a bit different, and I also saw this book being mentioned in a group. That's a Facebook group. And when I saw that book, I saw the cover, and the cover intrigued me. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this book? And then I'm like, who is this author? So this is the first time that I'm coming across this author, Laverne Thompson. And I decided I'm going to look up this book. And I looked up this book and I'm like, Giselle, you need to read this. Seriously. So when I looked up this book, right, I realized that this is book 3. I'm like, Giselle, where were you? Where were you? Where have you been? So now I have to read book 1 and book 2 in this series, and it is the Crossroads series, and this book, it is book 3. And book 3 is expected to be published today. Yes, today, October 5th, but unfortunately, I have to go read book 1 and book 2.
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
But that's okay, because it's coming out in October, and I'm going to read it in October. This book that I'm talking about that is going to be released is Wild Magic, and it is an action-adventure urban fantasy. Now, I looked at the reviews for the previous book, and everyone highly rating this book. They mentioned there's so much adventure and action, it's captivating, it's intriguing, the story is well told, that it builds, the story builds, and you are engrossed in this story from beginning to end. that is the reviews that I'm getting from this book. So I can see why book 3 is a highly anticipated release, because the previous books ended on a cliffhanger. So y'all, you know I have to read this series. And to know that it is a paranormal romance, so you're getting like shifters, vampires, you're getting all that in this book. So if there's one book that I want to read for this spooky time of the year, it is going to be this, and it is written by a Black author, and the heroine is Black. So I'm like, you done know. Yes, a little Trini twang for you. You done know that I have to read that book, or you know that I'm going to read that book. So after that paranormal romance, obviously I know not everyone loves a paranormal romance, so I have something a bit different. Now, I don't normally read fake relationships, just saying. I don't really read those types of romance because I'm like, I already know that the two persons are going to end up together. It's like a given, and someone is going to get hurt. So I don't normally read that trope of romance. But when I saw this BWWM opposite attract, I'm like, with a celebrity twist. I'm like, no, this one is different. So you have this TV child star that is now growing up, that doesn't want to be in the spotlight anymore, and that's Naomi. And then you have Donovan. He is continuously in the spotlight. He's an internet sensation, and they happen to meet, and obviously sparks fly, and they end up in a very compromising situation, and the paparazzi finds them and, you know, takes pictures of them. And so they decide, you know, let's give this a try, see how things goes. And that really piqued my interest in this book, in that it's not to say that they were friends and they decided, hey, let's try to do like this fake relationship to cover or to do something. No, these are complete strangers, completely opposite, that embark on a fake relationship with the media involved. Like, what? So yes, definitely want to read this one. We're gonna do this fake relationship this month. Yeah, we're gonna do this. So you all know I'm all for a second chance romance. I just love the juiciness of a second chance romance. And I get this with When You Were Mine by Myla Nix. You had Dylan, and he's some type of bad boy. And then you have Penelope, and Penelope has a daughter that resulted from their past relationship that ended 6 years ago. I'm like, ooh, talk about drama. I'm like, yes, Giselle, you're all for that. So we have to read this one. In this book, you're going to get like small town vibes. You are going to get a secret pregnancy. You are going to get the bad boy falls for the good girl. If that is what you're looking for, yes, look out for this book to be released on October 8th. Another highly anticipated book release for the month of October, that's an interracial romance, is More Than Enough, and it is written by Moni Boyce. And in this book we meet Lexi and Ezra. And Lexi, she has done everything the right way. She has done what everyone expected her to do, and now that she's divorced and she's single, she wants to live life on her terms. And then she meets Ezra, and Ezra is totally not the type of person that she goes for. She's out, you know, partying with her friends and so on, her girlfriends. She meets Ezra and they hook up and they embark on this relationship. This is the 8th book in the Blue Collar Romance series. Yo, I'm saying I am not going to read 7 books to read this one. All of the books are standalone, which is a good thing, because that means we could just read this one book. And if I really enjoy it and I love the story and I love the writing, I will definitely check out the previous book. This book is expected to be released on October 29th. You ought to have maybe like 3 or 4 books from this list that are releasing on October 29th. How am I going to read all of those on the same day that they are released? That's impossible, but that's okay. Make sure and add these books to your TBR. If you're like me and you love an interracial romance, you love juicy stories, you love stories that are filled with drama, you like stories that are thrilling and exciting and adventurous, because you know that's what I like to read. We can't do boring. We can't do slow. I don't like to D and F books. So if you're like me, make sure and add these books to your TBR, and let's get reading for the month of October. That brings me to the end of my video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure and give it a thumbs up. If you'd like me to do another interracial, intercultural, multicultural reading list of books that are going to be released, or highly anticipated BWWM books, make sure and comment down below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and look out until I post another one.